Hello, friends. Ooh, it took us a second today to get started. Welcome to Find Your People. I'm so glad that I found Mandee today. I feel like I am just feeling around in the dark for life these days, but we found each other. We're so excited about it. Mandee is in a different place and is being attacked by large um elephant-like dogs today. So how are you, Mandee? Tell me all about it.
Listen, I am here. Jenny, the foster dog, is living her best life. We are dog sitting for my dear friend Susie while she travels for work, and she has a little. I think she's a Shih Tzu. She's a minute, and
She's very
Grace.
pretentious looking. Her face is very pretentious.
She's a goofball, but she can't believe I have brought this elephant into her house. And Jenny is just like, there is a backyard attached, and you are leaving that door open. I am going to take all of advantage,
All the
all of the
things.
advantage. So,
Well, that means that Jenny can run around now, though, right?
well,
So
it's
that's
as
a
long
good thing.
it is a good thing as long as she doesn't start coughing.
Okay.
Then she's got some clearance to have some more activity. But yes, this is a good thing.
That's
So
a great update on little Jenny. We're so glad you found your puppy for now. She's just a foster, though. We are not like taking ownership of her behavior in any way.
I was telling Katie I went to the Braves game last night, and so the dog I was dog sitting and my foster dog had to go. She is just carrying on out there, y'all. They had to go to the stay with the vet, and like Gracie is there a lot, and Jenny loves the vet's office because that's all she knew from the
Yeah.
time she got picked up from behind the Waffle House. Um, and so, but when I was picking them up today, the girl was bringing them out of the boarding area, and I heard her behind the door going, Jenny, you have got to calm down. And then a couple other girls were coming back from lunch, and when they saw her, now she's in the microphone. When they saw her, and then they looked at me, they were like, "Oh, you're Jenny's mom."
Here, let's get so I'm gonna tell you I'm getting a picture today.
Oh,
get Jenny. Where's
listen.
Jenny? Let's see if we can get Jenny. Hey, Jenny. So there's Jenny. Oh, Jenny.
Bye,
You showed me
Jenny.
your tail. That's great. Oh, that was definitely an action shot. We'll have to take another one when she comes back. So I'm just so excited to hear all those great news tidbits about Jenny, because not too long ago she would not have been the life of the party. She would not have been able to have the strength to love on people and to be the menace to society that she has become.
I like the way you think, Katie. I like the way you think.
Ay. All right. Well, look, the show notes indicate that I've got a lot I'm very upset about.
Listen, I'm excited to discuss.
So we may not get to all this, but I just verbally vomited Saturday all over my computer. I was so mad about so many things.
I was like, let me go pull up. Let's see if Katie has started show notes yet. I was like, oh, yes,
Katie has started.
We have a few.
Yeah. The first one is non-sports related, and I really don't understand. Even someone like my beloved Trader Joe's, beloved, does this to me, and I don't understand it. It hurts my spirit. It invades my nostrils. It makes my eyes itch. What in the world are cinnamon brooms about? Please tell me. Can somebody help me figure that out? I mean, it has been said that I do fly around on a broom every now and then. It has and will never be a cinnamon one. Like, I don't know anybody that actually puts those up. Why?
There are people who, go all in on all the holidays.
I mean, look, it's not, I get that.
And so part of perhaps it's a carryover, because I feel like the cinnamon broom draw was the smell, the seasonal smell. And it was for people who didn't want to bake a cookie, but they could get the smell with this broom. Now, who invented the cinnamon broom? I don't know. But I feel like perhaps people can update to a scented candle now and get the same sort of, scratch the same itch that the cinnamon broom used to provide for them.
It is not attractive. So why are you going to hang it in your house? It smells
It's very
like
aggressive.
A red hot, not like cinnamon. It smells like a red hot, which I love a red hot. Don't get me wrong.
And it's an aggressive red hot.
It's very aggressive. And the Trader Joe's that I frequent, they are right outside the door. They put them outside because they're so strong. They have to put them outside. But even walking up to get a buggy at the Trader Joe's, I'm accosted now with the odoriferous scent of red hots and cinnamon brooms. If you hang a cinnamon broom in your house and you are listening to our podcast, first of all, I don't know why, because we are not cinnamon broom people. And two, it's time to stop. This is a public service announcement.
It's an intervention. Katie is having an intervention.
Stop. Because if you quit buying them, they'll quit putting them out.
Listen, as a person who is very sensitive to all odoriferous things, I'm fine with never seeing another Glade plug-in.
See, okay.
It makes it. I'm allergic to it. So yeah, I don't need that. I don't need a cinnamon broom. I don't really need a candle. In fact, my sister found some sort of organic sort of something, a Glade plug-in adjacent that was like all organic. And she tried to sneak one in her den. And we have a running joke. It goes back. It's a long story, but I looked at her and I said, "Why do you hate me?" Like I walked in and could smell it immediately. It is just, I don't like perfume. I don't like, listen, just be clean.
I don't do many candles. But there are a couple I do. Mine usually come from my favorite, and this will be one of these days. It's going to be in my favorites. Creeders in Macon, Georgia is a shop like no other.
Agreed.
I love that place. I love it. And every time I go to Macon, even if it's for 5 minutes, I always go to Creeders every single time.
I like it.
They have one candle I use at Christmas. I'm sure I'll bring it back out.
I do buy a Christmas candle just because I can't do a real tree.
I don't do a real tree. So you burn this little candle and it smells like you got a real tree.
That I can get on board with.
I have one candle that they taught me into that I'm glad they did. It's a real citrusy scent that's an Aperol Spritz is what it's called.
Nice.
For this summer that I burned occasionally, not every day, but occasionally this summer. And then my fall and winter is one that I love. It's called Cask. And it's very masculine smelling. There is not a man that lives here in this house.
You sound like the Big Boob podcast. Yeah. They love a masculine candle.
I love it. There's not a man here. So therefore, I burn a candle so it smells like there is.
Listen, there's nothing better than a good smelling man.
Oh.
I make an exception for my odoriferous aversion to a nice cologne on a man.
Honey.
Yeah, I'll make that exception.
That's a different podcast.
But listen, cinnamon brooms are not where it's at, people.
Don't do it. Don't. And if you do it and think that people that come to visit you enjoy it, they don't.
Make a nice pot of wassail in your slow cooker.
It's not hard. Or get some. Here's an idea. Get some snickerdoodle break apart cookies at the grocery store and put them on a cookie sheet. You don't have to make them. Put them on the cookie sheet and put them in your oven.
Or if you Google, there's Williams Sonoma has released their recipe for like their in-store. So
Love it.
it's sort of
Yeah, sense
it's like potpourri, but it's
that
like
makes you buy stuff. Yeah,
you boil it, and it's like
yeah.
citrus and a cinnamon stick. It's delicious.
Let's
But
do that and not a cinnamon
we've
broom,
got
please.
it is the year of our Lord 2023. We have some options. Let's
Yes.
utilize them.
Let's not make one of them a cinnamon broom. Let's bury that with the hatchet. Let's do that.
I'm down. I'm down.
So that was like, I was like, oh, putting cinnamon brooms on there. I'm glad you feel the same way. If you had not, I put it
I
on there
didn't know
thinking,
I didn't know I did, but you make some good
look,
points. So I'm there.
I was gonna have to convince you otherwise if you didn't. So this week's college game day I thought was good. There were two stories that I really loved.
Okay.
I'm still not sold on the new panel, whatever, but I did love they told two stories I thought were great. The first was about the Notre Dame safety Xavier Watts.
They've been doing a lot of Notre Dame this year, huh?
Well, they were at Notre Dame this week, and
because wasn't the Notre Dame quarterback that had the bones? The
yes,
bone necklace.
look, and he is about 45 years old.
He's cute though.
He's very cute, but there's several like, how is Bo Nix beat the snot out of Colorado? How's he still playing?
Is
How's
he
that
still
guy?
playing?
He's still playing. How is his did they throw eligibility out the window and I
Somebody has
didn't
a
know it?
30-year-old kicker.
They've got people that are playing longer in college than have been that are older than people by like a decade in the NFL.
Like seriously, there's a 30-year-old kicker.
I think, well, that's part of. Wait till I get to my Clemson story.
Okay.
There are, I mean, like I think we need to do some investigative journalism, Mandee, because I'm skeptical that these people are still eligible to play. I'm skeptical.
Okay. I'm
And
just
the
wondering if
Notre
we can
Dame
get some.
quarterback is one of those that I'm very skeptical of.
I'm wondering if we can get somebody who's retired from the MLB to come back and play at Vandy or something.
Let's
That'd
do
be
it. Why
fun.
not? Apparently, you can
Right.
get people from anywhere.
Right.
So this little kid though is an actual, college student. His name's Xavier Watts. He's a safety. He's a sweet kid. You could just tell, you could tell a person just by the way they interact with people, and you can tell on camera. So they were telling his story. His dad is in a wheelchair, and as his mother was interviewed, she said, well, Jeff, that's his dad's name. Jeff was, not friends with the right people. I was like, oh, okay, I gotcha. And so when he was in his early 20s, he was shot. He was in the middle of what sounded like, they did not say it, but what sounded like a gang, what we would consider a gang war on the side of the street, and bullets were flying, and he got hit and was paralyzed from the waist down. And so he spent the rest of his life helping his young son understand how those choices can really affect you. And one of the ways he does it, which I love, is that he sends his kid articles about these really great athletes that totally screw up and how they've ruined their chances and their careers.
And they wind up on 30-30 and 30 for 30 and not,
Yeah. So he not only uses himself as an example of being at the wrong place at the wrong time, and, the people you keep and work hard and don't, be distracted by all this going on around you. He sends lots of examples, real world examples. And Xavier said at first, he was like, yeah, dad, whatever. And he would get the article, but he said eventually it started to kick in what his dad was telling him.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just think that perseverance in parenting, it's got to be so hard. Neither one of us have human children. I have cared for a lot of puppies, and you clearly have your foster Jenny, but perseverance with parenting has got to be hard.
For
So
real.
hard. And you could just tell he's always been worried that Xavier would end up where he was. Anyway, it was just the sweetest story, but it was so inspirational. And if you get a chance, please go check out that story. If you've got teenagers, especially teenage sons that are thinking about football, or a teenage daughter that's going through, to play D1 soccer or whatever, the one wrong decision can change your life forever. I think I thought about those kids at Georgia who got in that car not too long ago. So that was just one wrong decision, and it changed everyone in that car's life and their family's lives. So
I may have sent my nephew a Instagram post.
Right. Look, you're gentle parenting from afar.
Yes, it was a woman on Instagram that I saw. I swear she was in her house coat, and she was talking to a car full of teenage boys, and she said, I can't remember what she called it, but like the parenting advice of the night was, don't take anybody's life, don't create another life.
Yeah.
And
third one.
I can't remember what, like, it was just some sort of general, like, make good decisions or something. But I totally fit that in my nephew. Way. Yeah. I thought there you go. Don't take another life, don't create another life, and just make good choices.
I love that. And that's, parenting is hard. I can't even imagine. I cannot even imagine. So I just thought that was a really good story. The other one that cracked me up from the other day was the little Clemson kicker, y'all. So we've talked about it. Dabo refuses to use the transfer portal or NIL. So instead, he goes to Wall Street. Literal Wall Street. This kid was an intern at a New York City financial institution. They said with Ally Financial. He was working at Ally New York headquarters in a cubicle at his desk. And Dabo calls him and says, "Hey, you're still getting your master's. Want to come kick?" His name is Jonathan White.
Had he played for him before? Like,
was their backup kicker.
Okay. So he knew the atmosphere, and he knew.
Yep. But he never.
Have you ever been to a game at Clemson?
I have not.
It is wild.
Well, he missed the game-winning kick.
Oh,
I know. Gosh. And I felt so bad for him. I still like him very much. I hope he's not getting a lot of hate. But it goes back to that whole question of if he was on the team that whole time he was in college, and now he's getting his master's. Is he still eligible to play?
How does he have another year? Well, I wondered, because remember, I guess it was like this in football. No, it was like this in baseball, that everybody got well, maybe it wasn't like this in football, because I think it was like this in baseball because the season got canceled. But everybody got another year of eligibility because of COVID.
Maybe. That may be what we're still living in. Maybe.
Would that have applied to football?
Tail end of it? Maybe.
Well, they did, because some of their seasons were shortened, weren't they?
Yeah.
Like it was like, God, I have no words today, which is great.
What it means, I know it's great for a podcast. What it means is that we've got 35-year-old quarterbacks.
There you go. Listen, that's so funny.
Financial advisor kickers.
But you know what? Do you remember when you graduated from college and you got your first job?
Yes.
And about, I don't know how long he had been there. Had he been there, 6 months?
Probably.
Months, whatever it is. Would you not have gone back to college at that
100%. 100%. On full scholarship?
I mean.
To go kick a ball every now and then?
Right? To play in Clemson with 100,000 people losing their minds.
I mean.
I'd have done it.
Yeah. I mean, he might have been regretting it at the end of that last game when he
God bless his heart.
But other than that, sure, yeah. I mean, of course. How fun would that be?
Yeah. Although I don't know.
I feel like I have some eligibility left.
Listen, look out.
We all know that you and I are Olympic gymnastics experts. So I feel like
I
if we
can't do a
think we can
cartwheel,
do it,
but
well, but we think we can do it, so that's all that matters.
I do not think I can do it, Katie.
I
I would
do.
like to be clear.
I totally do.
We could curl, maybe.
Oh, college curlers,
We could definitely wear the pants.
done.
But
Side
no.
note, I feel like we, for the Winter Olympics, need to come out with a line of pants.
Okay.
Roger people curling pants.
I'm gonna leave that up to you.
Anyway, speaking of uniforms, y'all. Okay. So Notre Dame wore green, which I love. I thought it looked great. I love the Kelly
Like
green.
dark green.
No, it was a Kelly green. It was a bright Kelly
Oh,
green. It looked really, really good. I was
missed it.
excited. But it made me start thinking, and then Auburn did it. Look, I've got a couple things to say about Auburn here in a minute.
Okay.
But Auburn teased on the Twitter, on the tweet, on the X, whatever we're calling it these days.
We're calling it Twitter.
Twitter. On the Twitter, I see a dog behind, and it's just making me so happy. It said just this short little sentence: "I hear you like orange." And I thought, oh no. If we pull out the orange jerseys, I mean, okay. So I know that luck is not tied to what color jersey you wear.
Oh, listen.
If I sit in the same
I
spot
disagree.
and watch a game, in
I
my
disagree.
mind,
I
in my
disagree.
heart, I think that it does.
Yes.
And we have only worn, since the 1800s, we've only worn orange jerseys like 4 times.
Oh, really?
Yes. And it's 2 wins, a loss, and a tie. And it's so risky right now with how bad we are that if they pull out the orange jersey and it makes us lose, wow, Jenny the elephant. If we run out of that tunnel for this is the Georgia game weekend at Auburn, if we run out of the tunnel in orange jerseys, I'm going to have a fit. So here's what they did though this week, which we lost terribly. We traditionally have white helmets with white face masks, and they put orange face masks on them. And I was like, oh no, don't you change anything. And we were terrible. It was so bad. And I was like, if this is the precursor, if they're testing it out the waters, they need to see that it did not work.
Right.
The orange is not helpful.
Don't do it.
It is a jinx and a half.
I know I have a Vanderbilt bias against orange, but like, I hear you like orange. Really? Who likes orange? Like, even teams who have orange as their color don't necessarily love it.
I mean, I love a navy, and like I'm wearing a navy dress right now. I'm moo, frankly, but whatever. I'm gonna be.
I was with my
so
friend Kelly
mad.
last night, and Kelly's a Georgia Tech grad, and her son is a freshman at Auburn, so they are new Auburn fans, and that's what Kelly was saying. Like, can we just wear navy? Can we go with the navy aspect of this with a
At
little
least
orange
burnt
accent?
orange. Burnt orange is a little bit better than that ugly bright orange. And here, how about this? So I was reading, I was doing a lot of research for the podcast. So I was reading about Auburn's
You were
history.
what?
I was doing research.
Wait, now.
Auburn's history with orange jerseys, because I was we lost, I think, last time to Penn with an orange jersey, I believe. Anyway, but originally, get this, here's something cute. We wore orange jerseys back in the 1800s with brown pants.
Oh, wow.
Wow. That should go the way of the cinnamon broom. Leave those. Leave them. Don't do it. I mean, it's just, why are we gonna risk jinxing ourselves? Not that in my head I believe in jinxing, I believe in Jesus, but I know that you can psych yourself out. And I think why? We've got too many other things going on. Why are we gonna try to do orange jerseys?
Listen, let me just give you some edification on your jinxing gut. Okay. So I went to the Braves game last night with my friend
Mhm.
Kelly.
Mhm.
We typically go with Kelly's middle child, her younger son, Sanders. And Sanders is running cross country this year and has to get up at dark 30. And so he passed on going to the Braves game. And so we were already a little nervous about that, like, because we're undefeated. When Kelly and Sanders and I go to a Braves game, we are undefeated. So we were a little nervous about Sanders not coming with us, but we persevered. And when we bought these tickets, like we didn't, this is not the playoffs yet. We were really going. I had not been to a Braves game at all yet this summer. And then it just happened to be Dansby's first game back. So, that's the cards just sort of lined up. But as we were leaving Noonan, I said, Kelly, I'm taking my cap. I'm not wearing it, but I'm going to take it in case we need it because I've never not worn it at one of the games we've been to. And she's like,
then
okay,
you have to.
right. So then we get there and the Braves are behind 4-0. And I'm like, I got to put my cap on. And Kelly says, I didn't bring a cap. I've always worn a cap and I didn't bring a cap. I'm going to buy a cap. And she did. And she left and she went and bought a cap. As soon as she walked away, we turned a double play to get us to the next inning. And the next inning, Kevin Pillar hits a home run. And by the time Kelly has actually purchased said hat, we have scored 4 runs.
See?
And she's like, I'm not coming back to my seat. I'm staying.
Yeah.
I'm staying back here and watching from back here. Listen.
Yeah.
And Kelly single-handedly won that Braves game by going to buy that cap.
100%.
So listen, I'm with you with your jinxing.
This is totally going to sound counterintuitive to the orange thing, but my uncle went to Auburn. My brother went to Auburn. My uncle went there and believe he graduated the year I was born in 1977, I believe, somewhere around in there. Maybe a little bit earlier. So he is the kind that lines the pom-poms up on the mantle a certain way, wears the same hat. If his wife, his long-suffering wife, Deborah, who's also an Auburn grad, is washing the dishes from supper and Auburn's doing well, she has to wash them over and over. I have watched that man who I adore roll around on the floor and kick and scream watching an Auburn game. I may cuss a lot at the TV, but I don't like roll around on the floor like he does.
Right.
He has a pair of orange pants that are only for the Georgia game that he wore while he was in college. It's a pair of Izod orange pants
that he bought when he was in college.
He wore 4 times every year he was in school. And they beat Georgia every year. He was wearing those orange pants.
Well, there you go.
When my brother went to Auburn, Buddy showed up with the orange pants that had only been worn 4 times. And said, you can only wear these at the Georgia game.
Listen.
And look, they were a little tight. But my brother squeezed into those things just for the Georgia game. And look, so I'm all, but I also think that can go the opposite way. That's why I really don't want, why we only wear navy and we only wear white. Why? Don't do it.
Okay. That's fair. That's fair.
I did like the Notre Dame green. It did look good.
Okay, good.
So to stay on Auburn for just a minute, I don't want to dwell on it because it'll make me cuss again, but we played Texas A&M, which I know the Big Boo podcast is going to be so thrilled that they beat the snot out of us. Because as I have said from the beginning of the school of this football season, 3 quarterback systems don't work. They just don't, and they never will. And we proved it this week. Hugh Freeze, froze on the sideline, literally spent most of the first half. And I don't know about the second half because honestly, I couldn't watch some of it. With his hands on his knees, his head down, shaking his head in frustration.
That is not what you want to see from the head ball coach.
I said words. I said words during that game that I don't normally say, even when I get angry. I had to ask for forgiveness. And Jesus spoke to me and said, just turn it, Katie. They're going to lose. Just turn it. So by the end of the game, I had switched to, I think Ohio State, Colorado came on after that, maybe. And I was just like, I'm done. I'm out. Katie out. If y'all could see, Mandee is literally doing what you do to a 4-year-old to her dog when you're in public, trying to be quiet. She is mouthing, stop it. No.
I'm beginning to think that they did
Her
not give
dog.
her sedative this morning.
Oh, Lord. So anyway, that's about all I'm gonna say about Auburn, except this is Georgia Auburn week, and I am not. It already hurts my spirit. The game hadn't even started. I will
Listen.
be in the mountains. I will not be home. I may not watch it.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. I
It's
need you to
gonna be
protect your
bad.
peace. I need you to protect your peace.
Yes. So there are two more things real quick, and then I'm gonna be done till my favorites.
Okay.
Because I've had a lot to say today. The first is very positive. RG3, I love. Do you know Ryan Griffin III? He was at Baylor.
I do.
Uber smart, like you can tell just listen to him talk when he was in college that he is just a smart guy.
Yeah.
And he's kind, he's got the best smile, he's perfect for TV. I am so glad that they let him start calling
very
games.
well. I always love the way he dresses.
Oh, he's a snappy dresser, very dapper. So it begs the question, if they'll let him go call Texas A&M Auburn, which I was pleased, that was the only highlight of the game. In fact, I'm on as I'm talking about, I'm going to pull up the text that I sent my friend during the game of what he said about Auburn. I'll take the criticism from RG3. I mean, I just love it. But why are we having Pat McAfee and old people on College Game Day
and not
if we've
RG3.
got people like RG3 that are amazing and did a great job?
Listen, we fired David Pollock. Pat McAfee, I'm just here to tell you, I know you're trying to reserve judgment on it, but
trying,
like, let's, the wrestleification of our entire society, the WrestleManiaification of our entire society is disturbing. I enjoy serious people. I enjoy serious people who are serious about their job, who get interested in something and want to do it well. I find that appealing in a human being, and the WrestleManiaification of life is exhausting.
Yeah. So here's what I texted yet again, my friend Dustin, who we text like you and I do during the Olympics. We text during, because he's a Florida fan. His wife's a Florida State fan. She's having a good season. He is, we're struggling. Yeah. At Saturday at 2:23, I said, I have yet to quit screaming at my TV. And this was the RG3 quote. It says, Auburn's deficiencies are showing up more and more. Thanks, RG3.
There you go. That's
Didn't
just
notice.
Nutshell it for me.
Lord. And then, we talk a lot about on here protecting, like I make fun of Corso, like no other, because I mean, he's a precious angel who should be treasured, but like, let the man stop for a minute.
Right.
I feel the same way about Lou Holtz. He's a little nutty these days, but I love him. I have seen him in an airport before. He's perfectly nice and kind. He was an amazing football coach. And that's why Ryan Day needs to pipe down, buddy. Did you hear him going after
the Ohio State
the game? Yeah.
The Ohio State coach. I did see that.
That man needs to stay out of the tanning bed, and that hair dye is getting into his brain and making him
WrestleMania.
He looks like a doofus with all that. He needs to back away from the tanning bed. And I mean,
That's just a
embrace the gray,
general.
dude.
That's
Embrace,
another rule in life. Just in general, you should back away from the teen in bed.
right? And the hair dye's leaking in and making you crazy. It's Lou Holt. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Don't punch down. Don't
Come
punch
on.
down. Yeah.
No. So those are my thoughts from Saturday.
Well, listen, I feel like it ties in really well to my first
It does.
topic, which is this menopause? Am I tired? Or are these people really that annoying?
Yes, yes, and yes, probably.
I feel like that is everything I do in life. I just stopped by my condo before I came back here, and I was putting a box in the garbage, which is a whole thing at my
Oh,
condo.
we've got
Oh
to
my
have
God.
that conversation.
It is not that hard to find one of the two giant dumpsters available for your use, especially when there's a sign in the lobby. Anyway, so I was actually taking a box to put in the dumpster, and I had spotted this woman pulling her suitcase out of her car, because when I saw her, I thought that suitcase cannot be that heavy. And we all really need to work on our weight training, or we're going to end up like this woman who looked like she was pulling a 300-pound box out of the trunk of her car. It was just a rolling suitcase. So I'm already like processing. I really need to start, lifting some weights or something. And I get in the elevator, I get down there, I throw my box away. And as I'm walking back around the corner, because the dumpster's on the opposite side of the building from like where the elevator is. So I'm walking back around, and this woman is rolling her suitcase, standing there looking up on the corner of the building, but it's like the back of the building. There's no entrance to anything on that side of the building. And she just starts following me. She doesn't say, "Excuse me, ma'am." She doesn't say, "Could you help me?" She just starts yelling, "Is there no elevator?" And I thought, I'm too tired. I am too tired for this. I'm going to pretend like I don't know she's talking to me. And I just kept walking. And she kept saying, "Is there not an elevator? Do you know? Do you know? Excuse me." And I just never broke stride. And she was following me. So in following me, she was going to walk directly by the elevator. So I didn't feel so bad, because there's a gigantic elevator right there on the corner that you just walked right by with your 300-pound suitcase. Again, is this menopause? Am I just tired? Or are people this annoying?
So I'm not sure if it's menopause. It may be. We may both be perimenopausal. We're both at that age.
Oh, I know I am.
I think I am tired, because people annoy me too. I know I'm tired. But I also think that people, okay. Young people maybe that lost that year during COVID, we can give them an excuse because they don't know how to socialize as well. But like everybody else in the world had those social skills before the vid. So what I need them to do is dig back in their closet
and dust them off again.
And dust those off.
That's the thing though, Katie. I think it's back to the whole WrestleMania vacation of things.
You're onto something.
And it's also like, okay, so last night was Dansby Swanson's first game back in Atlanta. For those of you who don't know, Dansby's an Atlanta kid, grew up in Marietta, went to Vanderbilt, was the number 1 draft. He was actually drafted by the Arizona Diamondbacks, but oh yeah, he's real good looking. Always has been.
He and that Notre Dame quarterback could be brothers.
Listen, Cougar City. And look, I've been in a room with him before, and yeah, now let me tell you,
it's the beard for me. I love a good beard.
The flow. Listen, but so he has played basically. He got drafted by the Diamondbacks, but was traded to the Braves within a year of getting drafted. So he's basically played his entire career with the Braves. And he reached his free agency year last year and chose to go to the Chicago Cubs instead of staying with the Braves. Lots of reasons for that, I'm sure. Not the least of which, the Cubs offered him $77 million more than the Braves did, if you believe reports, which I do. These are pretty accurate reports.
I mean, it's
But you
not
know,
like one
also
or two. That's a lot of money.
$77 million. And also, like, he's always been in Atlanta. He's done everything in Atlanta. And this was a chance for him to go try something new, go to a different place, try something different. It's a chance for him to sort of get in on the ground level of them building a culture. And he's big on that because he's a bandy boy and they're big on that. So, lots of valid reasons for
Yeah.
Dansby to do that. The online Braves fans,
Oh no.
the Twitter Braves fans who are so butthurt.
Probably live in their parents' basement.
I mean, and it's like black or white. Like, either Dansby stays with the Braves and makes less money and, blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah, 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 or he is our absolute enemy. And there's nowhere in between. Why? That's dumb.
That
They
is
did the
dumb.
same. A lot of them did the same thing with Freddie Freeman.
I'm
our
more mad
beloved
at Freddie's
agent,
agent than I am with
1,000%.
Freddie. I'm not mad at Freddie at all. Freddie
Yeah,
clearly would have stayed.
exactly. But just the whole and even like I remember when Kelly and Sanders and I were at the NL, what's that? That was the NLCS in 2021
Mhm.
against the Dodgers, and people started booing our boy Mookie. I'm sorry,
It's
why are you booing Mookie
Mookie.
Betts? Because he's good?
It's
I'm sorry.
Mookie.
That's dumb. Like, and I feel like that's sort of the same thing with. I just feel like it's it's pervasive
Yeah.
in our culture that everything is like black and white, and you're either you're on my team or you're my enemy, and
Yeah.
that's just nonsense.
And I feel like it's misplaced too. If the Braves had really wanted to keep Dansby, they would have at least
Right,
matched it.
right. I got to get my plug for my computer. Exactly. It's just, I don't know. It's short sighted, and it's just, I feel like it's pervasive in everything. In everything that happens.
Well, I mean, it's the same thing with politics. I have people that I love dearly, and they're like, if you're not a Republican, I don't want to speak to you.
Or,
Or a
or vice
Democrat. It goes
versa.
both ways.
Yep.
But what the, come on.
Yeah. That just doesn't, we don't need to operate like that. It's not
No.
healthy. But, also, are you going through menopause? Are you tired?
Yeah.
Or are people just that annoying?
All of it. My fuse has gotten a lot shorter.
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot shorter.
A lot shorter.
Especially when there's a cinnamon broom around, apparently.
I was laughing so hard at looking at our notes because you were ranting.
Yeah.
And then I come in with just is it
Yeah.
menopause? Am I tired? Or are people just that?
I think that might explain everything above what your note says.
Right?
I am
Exactly.
tired of Auburn losing everything. I'm tired of college game day. I'm tired of
I feel like
mean
we all just
people.
need a big long nap
Yeah.
and a reset.
Love it. Can
I
we
know
do
I
that,
do.
please?
I know I do.
What?
Because like I said, so I left yesterday. I left here at 10:30. Drove to Noonan, then drove to Atlanta or rode to Atlanta,
Mhm.
and then was back here by 12:30. So yeah, I'm a little
You
tired.
drove back last night? I wondered what.
No. I spent last night noon. I got back at 12:30.
Oh, there. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. I was
yeah.
like, dang, girl.
Yeah, no. I spent the
Okay,
night.
good.
But baseball, listen, it's great. We're in the crunch period.
We're
So
in the crunch. I'm
our
loving it.
baseball player of the week is
Mhm.
just gonna have to be Mr. Ozzy Albies.
Oh, he's so cute.
He is so underrated. He is so
He did great last night.
He did. He's been on a really hot streak, which we love to see. He is the longest active Brave at this point. Once Dansby left, because he and Dansby sort of
Okay.
came up together, and so now
Okay.
Ozzy has been with the Braves the longest of anybody. He was hurt at the end of last year, and looking back on it, he really his absence played a big part in what happened to that team at the end of last year, because he is really just such the heartbeat of the clubhouse. He's a great bridge between the Latin players and the non-Latin players, because he can, he speaks perfect English, and so he can, help communicate between the two. And he's just solid and consistent, and he's having a great year. He's hit 30 home runs,
Love it.
100 RBIs, and you just never hear anybody talk about him. And so I just love Ozzy. And he has a foundation, the Ozzy Albies Foundation, which their mission is to rescue dogs. So of course I love that, right? So
When I'm ready for a dog, I might have to go there. Sorry, Mandee.
You really should. No, listen, I don't recommend that everybody rescue wine runners. In fact, I recommend very few people rescue wine runners. They are a special case. But yeah, no, he's just great. And also, by the way, he also sort of secretly got married this year, sort of like Acuna did.
Love it.
Just all of a sudden, he and his longtime girlfriend were married. So I just love Ozzy, and I think he's so great. So he's our player of the week. And I was thinking, I'm not sure how it did after this week, because next week this time we'll be in the playoffs. The wild card playoffs will have started, and so there will be fewer players from which to choose. So I had an idea of what to do, and I have forgotten what it is now.
Well, I think
because I'm tired.
Right. It'll annoy me. And I have menopause.
I mean, all of the above.
Maybe you do just like a bracket update or something.
Yeah. So
because that means if the Braves have already clinched,
so
they will not be playing.
They will not. They are not in the wild card as of today. The National League wild card, the Phillies have clinched. So the Phillies, those pesky Phillies,
we were hoping they wouldn't.
They are the number one wild card. Ooh. But then the two other wild cards are still up in the air. Arizona, I think, is half a game ahead of the Cubs.
Okay.
And then Miami is a game behind the Cubs.
Okay.
The Cubs have the hardest schedule out of those three teams.
He didn't help them last night.
Listen, I was in such a conundrum last night. I mean, I always want the Braves to win. The Cubbies needed it worse than the Braves did. Anyway. But our boy Justin Steele, previous baseball player of the week, pitched his butt off.
He did.
So
he really did.
You love to see that if the Cubbies do get into the playoffs.
Yep.
Because he had a couple of bad outings before this one. But anyway, it's so that's where we're looking. If the Cubbies are still in it, it's either going to be the Marlins, the Cubs, the Diamondbacks. Two of those three are also going to get in, and so the Brewers, I don't know that they've officially clinched the Central Division, but they're going to. So it's the Braves, the Dodgers, and the Brewers who won their divisions, and then the Phillies and either two of the Diamondbacks, the Cubs, and the Marlins who will be playing in the playoffs. And then on the American League side, it's kind of fun. The American League, it's been the Astros and the Yankees have, sort of been the perennial winners over there, and the Yankees are out. They are not making the playoffs for the first time in like forever.
Wow. The people in New York are just thrilled about that.
I mean, between the Yankees and the Mets, it's been a crappy baseball season.
And now the Jets.
Oh yeah.
with
Poor,
Aaron tearing
poor
off his
old Aaron
poor
Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers.
I just hate it.
Wah, wah, wah.
Yeah. But yeah, so the Yankees are out and the Astros are not, like they may not make it in.
What?
So yeah, so it's crazy over there too. The Orioles, who are a
Mhm.
fun young team,
Love
um,
it.
and the Rays are fighting it, are still duking it out for the winner of the East. The Central, I think the Twins have clinched the Central.
Okay.
And then the West is uh great. I think that maybe
Have it wide open.
the Texas Rangers may have clinched. If not, I think they're gonna win the
Okay.
West. But then that wild card is also crazy between the Astros, or no, maybe the Toronto's in there somewhere. I'm not as up on that American League, but
Yeah.
yeah, there's a chance that the Stros may not even get in. So it's kind of fun. It's kind of a new young
I love it.
group in the American League.
I
So
love that.
yeah, so we'll
It'll be
see.
fun to watch.
I'm very excited. Yeah, so the wild card series I think starts October 3rd.
Okay.
And I think they play, I think it's 3 games, a 3 game set in the wild card. And then the division
Okay.
series will start, I think, on the
The best
7th.
2 out of 3.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then the next one will be a 5 game set.
Okay.
So when the Braves start playing, they'll have to win 3. The problem with the Braves is their starting pitching is injured. So
All of
yeah,
them?
almost.
Oh. So, okay, this is gonna sound there was a bear of a boy pitching at the end of the game last night, and he didn't pitch for long.
Jackson Stevens, dark hair
Yes.
and a beard. Yeah,
Yeah.
Jackson Stevens.
Yeah. He reminded me of that quarterback from Kentucky that they had a few years ago that was a stout fella, but very athletic. I was like, oh, we
Yeah,
have a teddy bear on the mound.
he's a great story. I could tell that
Yeah.
story
Yeah.
sometime. He's a good
I
story.
was gonna ask you to do that one soon because I was like, oh, one of these things is not like the other.
Yeah,
Yep.
he's a good story. But yeah, no, hopefully our starting pitching, Max Fried has a blister. So hopefully he's going, I know, but it keeps coming up.
So it's his finger. Okay.
Yeah.
Like
And then
having pool toe, like it's bad, but like, is it really?
yeah, it's on his finger.
Yeah.
And then Charlie Morton has a strain in his finger. So listen, these fingers.
I feel like it's like complaining about a paper cut though. I'm sorry. Like I
But
need you.
it's with
The
with pitching.
playoffs, boys. I need you to buck up.
Well, Charlie Morton is the one who, the year we won the World Series, remember somebody hit the ball and it hit the starting pitcher in the
Yeah.
leg, and he
Yeah.
finished out the inning, and then it
Okay.
turned out he had a broken leg.
Okay. Well,
That's
all
Charlie
right. I'm
Morton.
forgiven. All
He's
right.
tough. He's
All right.
tough.
All right. All
So
right.
anyway, we'll have plenty of time to talk about all that, but
Yes.
we're all nervous about the starting pitching. So
Of course. Of course.
oh yeah. But anyway, so that's all I've got.
Okay, good.
Oh my gosh.
Well, I'm very excited. It should be a fun October in many well, it'll be more fun for me as a Braves fan than it will be for me as an Auburn fan. So
We hope. We hope.
even if it will be. I'm just who we kidding. So
all right, well, are we ready for your favorite?
yeah. I'm so excited. So when Mandy and I started this podcast, we love to listen to other podcasts, and we said that we wanted our favorites not necessarily to be to be things you did not have to buy, or you felt like, oh, I gotta go spend a bunch of money. Well, I'm breaking the rule this week, Mandy, a little bit.
No, it can't ever be that.
Right. So I've got some things that are not like purchases, but then the first two, look, we've talked about fall decor, Christmas decor. Let me tell you what is never too early to do is purchase an advent calendar. If you are not an advent calendar kind of girl, Mandy, you need to be. I love an advent calendar. I'm new to this game. My friend Jade turned me onto them several years ago. It is so much fun every day during Advent to open up a little prize. Especially for us, like single gals that don't get gifts given to us or have people that buy things for us or do nice things for us. We do it for ourselves.
That's
And the
right.
Advent calendar is great. Let me tell you, this one that I got this year, because it's the year of self-care for Katie. So
Yes.
this one my friend Jade suggested, and it's Beekman 1802. I think it's anyway. I've got it. I'm gonna put it. It's so big. I had to rearrange my bathroom counter. Like I had to move everything out of the way to fit this gigantic box with drawers on it.
Is it products for
It
your
is
face?
products for your face, masks, lotions.
That's fun.
It is not cheap, but you know what? I'm worth it. I'm worth it.
Yes, you are.
If you like that kind of stuff, this is great. They have an advent calendar for everything you could like. So there are wine advent calendars. There are bourbon advent calendars. There are the other one I get, which was my gateway advent calendar, is the Godiva truffle calendar. So every day I get to open up a little pane of the advent calendar and get one little sweet treat. It's fantastic.
That's fine.
I was given, you may not know this about me, Mandee. You may not be able to look at me and tell, but I am a Potterhead and I love a Lego. And last year, a very dear friend of mine gave me a Harry Potter Lego advent calendar, and I put together a little Lego thing every day, and I have them out displayed.
Oh, well, that's cute.
So fun. It just gives you something to look forward to.
Yeah. I like
a little gift every day. So I have the Beekman. I'm gonna get the Godiva when they come out. They're not out yet, but I think it's so fun, and I think it's a treat for yourself. And like I said, they have ones with teas and coffees and food, and there's all kinds of fun stuff. So go find yourself a fun advent calendar. Give yourself a treat every day at Christmas. It is a great, great thing.
I like it. I've seen people too who have made
Yes.
and put a different activity
Yes.
every day in it. So that would be, if you didn't want to spend money, that'd be,
You
just
could definitely do that. It's a great way to keep your kids
activities.
occupied during Christmas break.
I don't know if that would be a treat to yourself to create one for your kids.
I'm sure they're out there though.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're out there.
Yeah.
Printable. Free printables.
I like it.
Yeah. So it's just a great thing to do for yourself. I love it. So I will put I'm gonna send Mandy the picture of this giant. It looks like a giant yellow cake. Layer cake, like a wedding cake. It's huge.
That's so funny.
These little drawers that you pull out every day and you get a little prize.
That's awesome.
So the other thing that you can purchase that is on my list this week, I don't know if you know about Scout bags.
Yeah, my sister has one.
I love a Scout bag. They are durable. They are well made, except when I had critters at the parsonage not too long ago, they've been taken care of and excommunicated out of the premises.
Okay, good.
But one of them got after my Scout bag.
Huh.
Because there had been food in it and they smelled it and thought that there was still food in it. So anyway, I've ordered myself a new lunchbox Scout bag because I am a student and I need a lunchbox. Like, I'm 5.
You do.
But I also have their makeup bag and I have a cooler, and they're just great. They're not the cheapest option out there, but they're also not terribly expensive. Yeah. I love my Scout bag. So I highly encourage, and I got the new plaid, which I'm going to link the site. The new plaid is navy and pink, which, it's very Katie.
Yeah.
So I got that. I got my new lunchbox and I love it. I love my new
Good. Yeah. My sister uses hers as a pool bag.
Yes.
And they're great for that.
And they have all different sizes, but I have the pink gingham makeup bag, because it's got a front and a back pouch that you can put your brushes in that kind of keeps them separate. The cooler is great. It's not huge. It's not like a big chest cooler, but like if you're just taking, say, I don't know, a bottle of wine or just a few little things over to somebody's house, it's the perfect size. So I highly recommend these Scout bags. So we'll link that in the show notes as well. The next thing is I really, so there are multiple layers to this. When thinking about merch for our podcast, I really want a t-shirt that says slow roasted tomatoes, because I feel like that is our thing that we have contributed most in this world. So I have posted now twice. I'm not going to be here this weekend or I would make them again. Cheese grits with those slow roasted tomatoes in it. I mean, if heaven was put in a bowl. And here's what I do. So I make some grits. When they're done, I take them off the heat and I add, because these are savory grits, I add a little hunk of cream cheese with chives.
Yum.
And then some of my favorite cheese in the world from Trader Joe's, unexpected cheddar. And a pat of butter, because grits. And then I put not just the tomatoes, but some of the oil. And then fry up a couple pieces of bacon and scoop out the grits with the bacon. Golly Moses.
Listen, you could do that for supper and call it polenta.
Yeah.
And, sell it for much more money.
Look, I think what I'm going to do, not just for these cheese, said that they were getting eggs too, but I can't not eat the cheese grits now. I love them so much. What I think I'm going to do too, because I marinate.
You can fry an egg and put it on top.
Oh my gosh. I'm going to have to do that now.
And some mushrooms, like some sauteed mushrooms.
Mandee.
Maybe if you were doing supper instead, you could do some shrimp and grits.
When we get together, when we are live and in person, if we don't do that with our slow roasted tomatoes. So last night I also used that same oil that has the garlic and the heavy-handed.
Did you see about? I did.
Look, I'm gonna call you out for calling me out. I marinated a piece of chicken just with the olive oil that infused and put some cheese on top. Oh my gosh. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of keep one jar just of the garlic cloves and the oil and kind of, make that the perpetual, almost like a starter for sourdough.
Yeah, sourdough bread.
And then I'm going to have another jar where I keep like tomatoes, and then I'll, just keep adding to it, because that stuff is so good. Like, I cannot tell y'all how simple and easy, but how delicious it makes everything.
Tell me about what kind of grits you like to use.
So I was gifted some grits from Callaway Gardens. They're the stone ground grits from Callaway Gardens. That's what I'm using right now, because I have them and I'm using them and they're delicious. Not sure after that what I will use, but
did I tell you about the Marsh hen mill grits?
And those you can get like at Publix, right?
I don't know. I haven't seen them at Publix. They have them at Whole Foods.
Okay.
If you live in Nashville, they randomly have them at the White Bridge Road car wash.
Okay.
And I think you can order them online.
Okay.
Because I have a hard time
for that. Remind me when I'm out. I'm gonna call you and be like, "What the heck did you tell me to get?"
Yeah, I have a hard time finding like good stone ground grits down here.
But these are good. I'll also take a picture of the bag. They come in one of those lovely like cloth bags. So they're from Callaway Gardens. A friend brought them back from me.
Birch turned me on to the Marsh hen mill grits. We gotta get Birch in here.
Birch, I'm telling you, Birch and I are gonna be friends. I think she realizes it at this point, because we kind of like stalk each other on the socials.
Oh, good.
But I can't wait. So the last two things that I have are shows to watch.
Good.
This first one happened before T Swift shows up at the Chiefs. If you need to watch, there's a lot of cussing it, so don't let your kids in the room. You need to watch the Kelsey documentary on Prime. It is the highest watched documentary Prime's ever had.
I don't think I knew that this was a thing.
It is so good. They're the cutest little family. Those precious, angelic little girls of theirs, they have 3 girls, are just beautiful. His wife is my new favorite person.
Oh, we're talking
Listen
about
to the
Kelsey.
listen to the New Heights podcast with her in it as well.
Oh yeah, I did see something online, but I didn't
Yes.
realize there was a documentary.
There's also a documentary with her in it. I love her. And I think she should be our friend. But she is an athlete all on her own. She is 6 feet tall and pardon my French, but she's a badass. And I love her and I want to be her friend.
Okay.
She is the real star of this whole shebang until Taylor Swift showed up. And I love her, and I think you are really gonna like her too. I just love her. And those little girls are just so cute.
Okay.
They've got the cutest names. Elliot, Bennett, and I can't remember the other one's name. Anyway, great documentary. Cannot recommend it enough.
Awesome.
And Travis is precious. Precious.
Listen,
I just baby Bennett. Oh my gosh.
I just sort of offhandedly mentioned something about Travis on my Insta stories.
Yeah.
About how I understood Taylor's attraction there.
Yeah.
The overwhelming response I had from all of my middle-aged women friends, Travis can get it.
He can dance. What? I'm all about some Travis Kelce.
Travis can get it.
Yeah. But you're going to like Jason too. Jason's sweet. Anyway, so just watch the documentary. I think you'll like it. We love a sports story. It's a great sports story. Speaking of sports stories, I cried my eyes out yesterday watching Welcome to Wrexham, which I love. Anything Ryan Reynolds does, I'm a fan. I feel like I'm a dude in love with Ryan Reynolds. Like every dude's in love with him.
Yeah.
And Blake.
Yeah.
But this Welcome to Wrexham barely features the 2 of them in it. The quiet section is the title of it. And one of their players has a son that was just diagnosed with autism. And so he's big into raising money for that and awareness, and he's precious, and his little boy is so cute. Those 2 angels of men, Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney, have really lived into the idea of bringing in people of different abilities. And they have staff members that are in wheelchairs to make sure that everything's accessible. They have a quiet section for people with autism where there is, they can wear their headphones. There is no loud noise. People don't scream. They feature one of the girls. I wept. It is the sweetest, kindest thing. I love that show in general. I love the idea of Wrexham. I think that's what we love about sport, Mandee. That's why I love it so much. I know nothing about soccer. I cannot tell you if somebody's offsides. But the idea that this community is being rebuilt around the story of their team is just amazing. And that particular episode I'm going to cry now, pulled at every little heartstring that I have and counteracted all the hate in my heart that I have right now for College Game Day and for losing Auburn.
It made you forget you were tired?
It did make me forget I was tired, or maybe I cried because I'm tired. I don't know. But if you are not watching that show, it is I don't know. Again, I know nothing about soccer, but I love that show so much. It's so hopeful and beautiful. And I highly encourage that you watch it. Mandee, I think that you do watch it.
I co-sign. Yep.
It is just so
in
good.
In the same vein, Matt Olson, who's the Braves first baseman, who replaced Freddie, who we love. At the same time, we love Freddie because we are multidimensional people.
We can love all kinds of people.
We can do it all.
Jesus tells us to. We can do that.
Right. So Matt Olson, who grew up in Atlanta, went to Parkview High School. One of his good childhood friends is autistic. And so forever, Matt has worked with, there's an organization, I think it's called Recliff, that
Okay.
he has helped fund it, and working with his best friend, that helps people with autism. And Matt is up for, he was the Braves nominee for the Roberto Clemente Award
Okay.
because of his work
I
with
love it.
the autistic community. So you can go to MLB.com and you can vote for Matt Olson.
Do it.
And I will share on Instagram the beautiful ceremony that they did where his buddy, his childhood friend of his, came out on the field with him and presented him with his little, Braves nominee statue, and to watch, because they did, of course, a backstory on it and
Of
how
course I would have
the
cried.
friend wanted to do this, like he so badly wanted to be able to honor Matt this way, but
Yeah,
it was really hard for him, and so like he's down
of
there with
course
his
it
headphones on, and
was.
it was just really beautiful. So I'll share that
So
too.
it's
You'll love
Matt
that.
Olson. I'm putting in the show notes so we can make sure we go vote. Matt Olson and it. Tell me the name of the award again?
The Roberto Clemente Award.
Oh, what I'll do is I'll put the link to that specific page on the MLB for it so we can vote.
Yeah.
I just think celebrating people who are a little bit different, but just as special and even more special than we are. It's so
Absolutely.
important. And I watched that and I just wept and wept and wept. It was so sweet.
That's awesome.
But watch the show anyway.
Yes, it's just in general, it's great.
Yeah. So those are my favorite things.
Those
A
are
lot of
awesome.
stories. I love a
Very
good
good.
story. And so I wanted to leave y'all with two positive things.
Listen, we needed some positive after
Look,
our menopause tired,
look,
annoying people.
I'm just weary of the last line of the Auburn Creed, which I didn't even go to Auburn, but I know it, is I believe in Auburn and I love it. And I am very much looking forward to the day where I can not have to insert the word still. I still believe in Auburn and love it. I'm very much looking forward to that day.
It'll
It will
come,
not be this weekend.
but it'll come. It'll
It'll
come.
come. So this is my plea as we leave to all the Georgia fans in my life outside of that, most of them I love dearly. Just be kind.
Take it easy.
Be kind.
Just take it easy.
It is a long road to hoe to still be an Auburn fan, but I still believe in Auburn and love it. So there we go. Well, Mandee, do you have anything fun coming up this week that we'll hear about next week?
No.
Okay. I am going to the lake. All right. Great.
I'm
Yeah,
tired, Katie.
it'll
I'm
be
tired.
all Katie all the time. Complaining about Auburn. No, I'm just kidding. I am going to the lake to Lake Burton with a friend of mine
Fun.
and a couple
Very
other
fun.
girls this weekend, just for a short trip. But what's going to give me joy, and this will give me joy as an Auburn fan, is that Nick Saban has a house on Lake Burton, and I'm 100% sure he will not be there. But when I tell you the birds will be flying in his direction on the boat,
Now, Katie, come on now.
it's the eagles. I'm going to say war eagle very loudly. That's the bird I'm talking about.
Okay, there you go. There you go.
On the boat as we pass by his house, I will salute him and say hello.
Okay, well, good. Okay.
And yeah, so that's what I'm doing this weekend. I'm sure we'll have lots of good things to say about that. So
I'm resting this weekend because I do
good for
have some
you.
things coming up in the next little bit. I'm going, hopefully, if the Braves make it to the National League
Good.
Championship, I've got tickets to one of
Good.
those games and
Good.
some other fun things coming up.
Maybe one of these times you come up to Atlanta, you can sneak up a day early and
Well, I got to
have
get this
some more
dog
fun.
adopted. If
Well,
I could get this,
yeah, we'll do
if I
that.
could get this dog adopted, I would have some more
Yeah,
flexibility.
I get it. Or you could just drop her off here.
Oh, my stars in heaven. Have you seen this dog?
Could you imagine the two of us together?
Yeah, I would have a big time.
The psycho and the psycho
Have
having
to give y'all
fun.
both a sedative.
Look, preach. That'll preach. All right, friends. Well, everyone has such a great week, but especially
Brooker.
to our friend Brooke. We hope that you sing loud songs of great joy throughout your
I
day.
hear the harps eternal.
Yep, because they sang together. So they can sing, I can't. But we love you, Brooker.
Have a good week, everybody.
Bye, y'all. See you next week.